winter is coming, and that means one thing: beautiful snow aesthetic. Except I do have a problem. You see, I live in the middle of the countryside, which means that when it does actually snow, I can't get anywhere. And models can't get to me, so I don't ever actually get the opportunity to enjoy the snow aesthetic when it actually happens. Plus, it doesn't really snow very often here. When it does, it's usually that pathetic stuff that just melts. So it's not really something that I often get the chance to take photos in, which is a shame because I absolutely love the aesthetic of snow. I mean, it is just pure fantasy, isn't it? It's got that full-on like Narnia feel to it. And you can really create some beautiful things in the whole snow aesthetic. But it's okay, because I've found a way that you can create a snow aesthetic in Photoshop using a photo taken in spring, summer, autumn, any of the other seasons. Literally, whatever the weather, you can create that snow look with Photoshop. It's honestly, it's revolutionised my December aesthetic that I've got planned, I'll put it that way. So I want to share this little trick with you so that you can spend your winter creating that beautiful aesthetic too. So let's dive into Photoshop and I will show you how it's done. Okay, so I've got the image that I'm going to use here. All we need to do is go to Channels. I'm going to select the green channel, and then this little circular icon here, this little circle of dots, we're just going to click on that. And then we're going to select the inverse of that. So let's go back to our layers channel and create a new layer. And then we're just going to fill that area with black. We can deselect that now, create a new layer, fill that layer with white, and then we're going to pop that layer behind the first layer we created. And that's going to create a monochrome look of the green channel that we just used. So we can merge those two together by pressing Command and E. I'm going to rename that monochrome just to keep everything nice and organized. And then I'm going to duplicate that layer. Now, you want to make sure that for this next bit you have your background color set to white, your foreground color can be black, and then we just go to Filter, Filter Gallery, and then make sure that Diffuse Glow is selected, which is under the Distort section. Just zoom out so I can actually see the image. And then we're just going to adjust these sliders to create a look. I want that down a bit. The idea is to create as much of a sort of glow as possible without it looking a bit too ridiculous. I'm gonna have that higher. The exact numbers that you use will vary depending on the kind of image that you use, so feel free to just sort of play around. I'm quite happy with that, so I'll go with that for now. And as you can see already, it's created that look of a sort of a dusted snowscape. So we can set that layer to screen, nice and easy. And now we just duplicate our original image and bring that to the top and set the blend mode, set the blend mode to soft light. Nice and easy. Now I've taken the liberty of creating a layer mask earlier using the pen tool. I'm not going to show you guys how to do that, that'll be something for another time. But I'm just going to copy and paste that layer mask into all the others just to reveal the original shot. And I'm just gonna, that hair looks a bit bright, so I'm just going to make a few quick adjustments just to, there we go. And as you can see, we've already created this sort of feel of a more snowy scape, as if there's been a little bit of a light dusting of snow, which I think is really cool considering how quick and easy that was. And if you wanted to make it look a bit heavier, you can literally just take your copy of the monochrome layer and just keep duplicating it, and that's going to make it a little bit brighter. Obviously you could then adjust the exposure and stuff to take away that overexposed looking edge to it, but I think it looks fine with just this light dusting. Now, to really make it look like a snow kind of aesthetic, we can add some falling snow as well. Now, if you type in just sort of like falling snow or snow stock onto Google, you can find a lot of images like this. And I'm just going to select it all, I'm going to copy it, bring it in, and resize it to the image. And then we're going to set the blend mode to screen on that, and that's added a little bit of snow to our image. Now I'm just going to duplicate that layer, I'm going to make it just a smidge bigger, and I'm going to flip it horizontally. Now the trick with the snow is you want to create depth to it. If you just use the one layer, it's going to feel very flat and a little bit unrealistic, so you want to create some actual depth in the image. So using the lens blur, I'm going to add some bokeh and distortion to a couple of the layers just to add a little bit of 3D depth to the image. So I'll just apply that. Now I want that layer to be as if it's in the distance, so I'm going to, again, I'm going to use the layer mask that I created earlier to mask out those flakes where she is. We'll call that back. We'll call this one middle, because that's going to be the kind of the snow that's just around her. That's going to be relatively in focus. For the sake of organisation, we'll pop that there. I'm also just going to use a layer mask there as well. Let's turn the opacity up, just to get rid of some of these artifacts in front of her face. I don't really want to obscure her face too much. And then using a larger snow, I'm just going to resize that as well. Once again, set that to screen. And again, because this is going to be like the snow that's closer to the lens, I'm going to add a bit of lens blur to that as well. Boom, nice and easy. And then again, I can just use a layer mask to clear away some of the artifacts that I don't want, because I think that some of it's a bit frantic. With the middle layer, I'm just going to erase them from this tree as well, because that tree is obviously a little bit closer. Boom, and there you have it. We have created a snow aesthetic in Photoshop really easily. That's probably taken me about maybe 10 minutes, if that. So I hope you found this helpful. I hope you go on to use this to create some beautiful, beautiful shots. Obviously, it can be very difficult to create snow if it hasn't snowed. Unless you've got a Hollywood budget or you're willing to make a lot of mess that you have to clean up, it's very difficult to create snow on location. So this is a really easy way of getting around that, and you can do this on a wide variety of shots. Works really well on things taken in the countryside. You just use the green channel to select all of the green areas. Nice and easy. And yeah, I hope you found this helpful. Please, if you do use this effect, feel free to tag me in the work so I can check it out on social media. Be sure to follow my social media. All my links are going to be down below. And if you really want to support me, consider subscribing to my Patreon as well. The links to that are down below as well, and by supporting me on Patreon, you just ensure that I can keep on bringing you this kind of content, as well as gaining access to a lot of cool little features, some exclusive tutorials and behind the scenes looks, and just cool things like that. So as always, thank you all for your support, and if you haven't already, click subscribe, hit the little like button, and I will see you on the next one. Take care of yourselves.